mixed bag, but you could say that in the mid-2000s, and today our GCF is around. How much of our budget is actually going into investment? So we can see less and less investment, 14%, and this is a measure of how much of our budget is actually going into investment. So we can see less and less investment coming from countries, from developed nations. That is a huge commitment that was made, and I think about 20% of that was meant to be for investment onto the ground. And yes, there's different models that we can be ready for execution. I think, the Lobito Corridor has become one of the many topics that we are seeing a lot on the continent, because the government of Angola has really made this commitment around concessions and giving long-term certainty around investment. So here's a piece of infrastructure, an existing infrastructure or a greenfield. We give you 30 years certainty around its operations and security that the government is able to offer the investors or the concessionaire that is provided on in the country. So I think it's really a function of the regulatory environment that is created in the different countries. We see a lot of ask for PPPs in different countries. Some countries are much more mature to be able to have PPP projects, others not yet. So the institutional arrangements and the regulatory maturity is quite important for private sector to have the certainty that they will be able to get a return on the investments that are made. And I think it's always difficult, of course, for governments to contend on investments versus a lot of the social programs that are still required in a lot of countries. But we need to be looking at infrastructure development beyond the piece of infrastructure itself. So 19, in terms of the impact of the Gautrain itself on the experience, and we therefore need to spend a lot of time upfront making sure that these projects are ready. The financing flows. I think in the last 5 years as Alstom, we have been able to raise over 5 billion euros on the continent for projects because we have a lot of partners that we work with. We've got a lot of partners that have an appetite to get into these projects, also because rail is seen as a more green mode compared to other modes of transport. So there is appetite, there is money. Let us ensure that there's certainty around investments and the regulatory frameworks and the institutional maturities to be able to execute the projects. And I think this will really move the projects to the next phase. And we've seen a lot of country financial risk, the certainty of recovering.
Mahola, gentlemen, thank you very much for contributing. Mahola, gentlemen, thank you very much for